So the fast flight today on the course and leading the fleet up there is the Miss Budweiser, followed by the Atlas Van Lines, the Miss Renault, the American Speedy Printing, and the Squire Shop. Sam, it looks like the Budweiser wants to take it wide, and he might be a little early.
Well, Jim, as Kropfeld brings it around here to head down to the starting line, he is somewhat early, but the rest of the field's beginning to pull alongside. Kropfeld's got his foot in. I think he's going to be somewhat early. Everybody else is behind him. Here they come down for a flying start, and Jim Kropfeld is either going to be perfect or he's going to make a big error.
It's going to be very close. On our clock, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the official ruling is, but Kropfeld and the Budweiser's out in front as he goes down to corner number 1, followed by the Atlas Van Lines. And also up in there is the Square Shop. A big spray of water as Jimmy Kropfeld from Cincinnati hangs it on the hook, goes sideways, now shakes it loose down the back chute, and the Atlas Van Lines is up there in that rooster tail somewhere, Sam.
And as he goes up there, Kropfeld's got Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser out on top. They're in the lead in the National High Point Chase right now. Kropfeld on the outside. Here he comes. There you see Chip Hanauer moving into the screen now. That's about a 2.5-second lead for Kropfeld. Remember, the length of a rooster tail is about the length of a football field, and that's 1 second in hydroplane racing.
As he goes down now to corner number 3, still awaiting a word from Lee Shinn, our chief referee, who makes the decision whether he jumped the clock. The clock goes from orange to black every second. When it goes completely black, you're supposed to be on the money.
Jim, as Kropfeld went by there, you saw the fire aboard the Miss Renault. A turbocharger let go. There is fire. These boats have onboard fire extinguisher systems. If something gets that bad, Milna Irvin will jump into the water and stop this heat. But right now, the system is working. Here's Chip Hanauer giving chase. I'll keep my eyes up there and see what happens with the Miss Renault.
And right now, the Atlas Van Lines goes into corner number 1 as the Budweiser comes down the back chute off of corner number 2, and it's not been official as if the start is official or not. Waiting for the word from the chief referee, Lee Shinn. Budweiser right now currently out in front of the pack, but if there's an extra penalty lap, Sam Cole, the Atlas Van Lines will take over official first.
Well, you know, Jim, the drivers will find out as they come around this time, possibly, because in hydroplane racing, the starting clock is moved back. Half orange and half black. That's the only signal these drivers know if someone jumped the gun. They don't know who did, but they have to find out by looking at the clock if someone did.
Milner Irwin has that fire under control on the Miss Renault, and it was probably a turbo fire, but we saw some flames, and he's out of the race. Here's the Budweiser, and Jim Kropfeld did look up. And right now, Sam, we're getting official word from the tower. This boat, the Miss Budweiser, is 4th. Not first, because you'll have an extra lap to go. It's the Atlas Van Lines with Chip Hanauer out in front, but Chip, I don't think, is going to take any chances.
No, he's not. He's not giving up any ground whatsoever. Kropfeld brings Bernie Little's boat. Here's our new second-place boat. That's the Squire Shop, driven by Earl Hall.
He's flying.
By Bob Stiles. Yes, he is. He's dancing down that straightaway. The boat getting a lot of lift as it goes down there. Here's our new leader, Chip Hanauer, the Atlas Van Lines.
And our second-place boat, the Squire Shop, after having problems the first time out, will now be able to make the final if he can get 300 points here in the second place finish.
That's right, and if everything goes the way it's going right now, it's going to make one heck of a race for our national championship, because should Hanauer win, should Kropfeld come through, Hanauer will fall to within 69 points of the Miss Budweiser for the national championship title.
Going into this particular heat, this boat, the Budweiser, was 300 points ahead of the Atlas Van Lines, but this boat will pick up 400 points. The Atlas Van Lines here with Chip Hanauer, and only 169 for a 4th place finish for Budweiser, unless somebody breaks down and he can move up a notch.
Right now, Kropfeld out of Cincinnati, Ohio, takes the Miss Budweiser through. He's content there. Here comes Earl Hall in the Squire Shop, doing a heck of a job in this boat. They lost an engine earlier here today. A little bit flighty as he goes down through there. Whoa! And he just took his foot out of it as they go down through there. Here's our leader, Hanauer, the Atlas, up the backstretch.
And our second-place boat now comes down towards me, still flying, Sam. A little bit too light on the front end. That right spots he comes up, and now he hangs it on the hook in corner number 1. Currently riding in second place. Third place is the American Speedy Printing with Jack Schaefer Jr. And here's our 4th place boat now, Miss Budweiser, as the extra penalty lap is going to hurt that boat, but we'll make the final.
Yes, they will. 4 of these boats will move into the final, and with the Miss Renault going down, we're going to have to see if she can come back for the consolation, because Squire Shop would move in there if everything finishes the way it's going right now. But once again, this is racing, and there's a lot of ifs until that checkered flag falls.
Right now, it stands as the Atlas Van Lines is the lead boat right there, the Blue Blaster with Chip Hanauer from the Seattle area coming for about a lap and 3/4, and this heat will be history. Second place boat is the Squire Shop, driven by Earl Hall. And third place, Jack Schaefer Jr. in R.B. Bob Taylor's boat, the American Speedy Printing. The Renault is watching the rest of the parade go by down near corner number 3 after having a turbo fire.
You You know, I haven't seen the Squire Shop this loose for a long time. Earl Hall doing a lot of flying out there. That's the only boat in the fleet that has a parachute on the back of it. In case the boat were to take off in flight, Hall has a plug, pulls the switch, and a parachute will pop out, enabling the boat to slow down. It is a safety device perfected by the Squire Shop's crew chief, Jerry Zubik.
They hope it's perfected, Sam. They've never had to use it. Let's hope they do not. Here's your lead boat right now to take the checker flag. Atlas Van Lines comes down with Chip Hanauer, and he will be the winner with 400 points. And he flies a little loose, Sam, as our ESPN camera gets real close.
He sure does. Chip Hanauer picks up the win. Earl Hall is going to take a second place in the Squire Shop. Jack Schaefer Jr. in the American Speedy Printing will take third. And in fourth, it'll be the Miss Budweiser. All four of these boats will move into that winner take-all finale here later this afternoon. But I think the big story is going to be the national championship race. Here's Earl Hall, our second place finisher in this heat. He'll move into that final. The national championship race, as I was saying, Miss Budweiser will now have 6,069 points compared to 6,000 points of the Atlas Van Lines. And we could have a new national high point leader later this afternoon, or the Miss Budweiser could extend their margin over everyone else. Here's Jack Schaefer, the third place boat in Bob Taylor's beautiful American Speedy Printing Special out of Houston, Texas.
And of course, did not finish, goes to the Miss Renault, the U3, the driver Miller with Jerry Shana's boat. Now, fourth place finisher now after getting the penalty lap with Jim Cropfield and Miss Budweiser, a fraction of a second too soon on the sixth. The winner of this goes on to the final for the big money and, of course, the prestige. Sam, the lineup.
Okay, Jim, the winner of this heat goes into our final. Fred Leland has just hooked and spun the Miss Rock out in the middle of the course. So we'll have three competitors here in this race. They'll be the Executone. That's the U8, driven by George Johnson. The Tempest, the U17, driven by Chuck Hickling. And the Will Muncie in the U43 Kawaguchi Travel. Three boats coming around for the start. We're 30 seconds away. Everyone's going to be just about on the money.
I think you've had Scott Pierce driving Chuck Hickling's boat. I don't think Chuck's returned to the driver's seat, has he?
No, he hasn't. Scott Pierce doing a heck of a job there. You know, it's the second heat today that Fred Leland has put the fire out in his boat, so we'll see what happens there. But right now we're...
Oh, the Tempest comes right in front. Now he wants lane number one. And he's squeezing a little bit the Executone as they come down. It's 7 seconds. Tempest may be early. I've got 5 seconds. He may jump the clock and be disqualified for an extra penalty lap, and he does. It'll be the Executone to finish, to start out. This boat that you're looking at right now, the Tempest, did what the Budweiser did earlier today. He's jumped the clock. He's third. He is not first, Sam.
Well, Scott Pierce had it just about there. He was about a boat length away, but like I said earlier today, you can be the hero or you can be the goat there. And he just hooked it out, Jim. Pierce hooked the Tempest down on that turn, went sideways. Let's see what happens. He's going slow. Now George Johnson coming up on the outside.
He picked it up. He was really close to the start, but we've got him as jumping the clock, which means he'll get an extra penalty lap. First place will be taken over now by the Executone with George Johnson. The Miss Rock down here at our starting line has just started out and is now an official starter. He just went by our screen left to right. He hooked it at the beginning. This boat is currently riding in third place. Actually fourth, because the Rock did make an official start now. This boat is now fourth place instead of first.
That's right, and as they go in there, Pierce and the Tempest on the inside. Johnson, you should see him. There he comes. George Johnson in the Executone on the outside to come down here. It looks like he could challenge for the lead as they head here for the starting line at the end of lap number one.
George Johnson is the blue boat on the left side of your screen. Now takes over and passes the Tempest, but he's the official starter anyway. He's the official first place because he was on time at the start. So George Johnson, the Executone, Bill Rooster's boat, out of Seattle, can maintain this lead, has just completed lap number one. If he can go that way for 4 more laps, Sam, he'll move in and fill out the final field of 6 starters.
Okay, 95 miles an hour on that lap for our lead boat. Pierce on the inside. He's right now running in fourth position. Johnson on the outside. He's our leader as they go up the backstretch. Johnson has a lot more horsepower than that Executone boat, and you should see him strengthen his lead here right now. Yes, he is. He's pulling away about a second and a half ahead of the Tempest there, as you see it there, about 200 to 300 yards as George Johnson has the lead in the beautiful blue and white Executone hull.
Our final field of Atlas Van Lines, Miss Budweiser, the Squire Shop, Frank Kenny Toyota, and American Speedy Printing. Those 5 boats are in the final, and this boat here, the winner, if this boat can maintain the lead, the Executone, he would be the 6th in the final field of 6 for all the marbles on our next heat of action here on ESPN. George Johnson.
And as he does this, Jim, Johnson comes out wide there. Pierce is keeping the inside lane, cutting in there. He forced Johnson to go wide.
laps down. This lap is only lap number 1 for the Tempest. He's penalized an extra lap, so he's only finishing his first official lap, while this boat is on lap number 3. That's Executive George Johnson down in corner number 1. Second place right now is, I believe, the Kawaguchi Special. Third is the Miss Rock, who got away. He just passed the Kawaguchi, so now he takes over officially second place.
Here you see Leland in a boat that he built. Ed Carrollson in Seattle built it. Fred Leland owns it, drives the truck, works on the engines, and does everything. They call him the last of the independents in hydroplane racing.
In our final field, we mentioned the Squire Shop Special. That camp has won it twice in a row. Last 2 years here, the Squire Shop team has been the winner. Earl Hall, handling the boat for the very first time, was asked by Sam Cole before today's race. He thought that he, the rookie, could make it 3 in a row for Squire Shop.
Earl, if anybody's got it riding on their shoulders today, it's got to be you. Your boat's won here 2 years in a row with 2 different drivers. Bob Stiles seems pretty content that it's going to be 3 in a row.
Well, I hope that I can offer Bob his 3 in a row for 83. But, you know, in the past years, there have been a lot of circumstances that have led up to the victory, and everybody here is running real strong this weekend, so it just remains to be seen.
What about you, Earl? You went back east, came back with a lot of good luck. 3rd place in the National High Point standings right now. Everything the Squire Shop has been a learning experience. You as a rookie, are you ready to put your foot in it today?
Well, I think so. You know, we're glad to get out here and get some good water. And in the past, out on the east, we've almost been fighting the rivers as much as we've been fighting the other boats. So I think you'll see everybody speeds up considerably out here, and ours included.
You talked about the breaks of racing a moment ago and alluded to that fact. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Who's there when the checkered flag falls?
Well, true, but the same thing could happen to us that happens to someone else attrition-wise. And, you know, last year with the untimely accident of the Budweisers, they were out of the race in the final. And, you know, I understand Atlas was having some problems. But nevertheless, you know, we're just as susceptible to problems as they are. So we just have to wait and see what happens.
3/4 of a lap to go for this boat, the Executive, with George Johnson out of the greater Seattle, Washington area. As he comes down the back chute, the checker flag is waiting, and this boat, the Executive, owned by Bill Wooster and a group out of Seattle, will then join the final field of the Atlas Van Lines, the Miss Budweiser, the Squire Shop, Frank Kenny Toyota, and American Speedy Printing.
You know, Jim, as you watch Fred Leland go through here, he's our 2nd place boat in this heat right now. And it's amazing, Johnson is running 95-mile-an-hour laps, and Leland's running laps of 105 miles an hour. If he hadn't had mechanical difficulties before the start of the heat, who knows what would have happened, because right now you see the Miss Rock and Fred Leland blister up that backstretch. He's running laps at about 10 miles an hour faster than the Executone, which is going to be our winner.
And the checker flag is out for George Johnson, and he takes it to enter the final field by winning this, the consolation. And you can see that right hand snap up as he looks up at Lee Shannon to say, I got it, and I'll make the final field. So the official order of finish, Sam, is not really that important, but here comes our 2nd place boat. That'll be the Miss Rock, as Fred Leland is running, as you said, 105-mile-an-hour laps, and is running faster than the leader, but got a late start because of engine problems.
And a big wave there, Fred Leland out of Seattle, Washington, in the Miss Rock, the KISW. He'll take 2nd place. 3rd place will go to Scott Pierce aboard Chuck Hickling's Tempest. And in 4th, it'll be the Kawaguchi Travel and Will Muncie.
And our final field will be the Atlas Van Lines, Miss Budweiser, Squire Shop, Frank Kenny Toyota, American Speedy Printing, and the Executone. And we'll be back with that run for the money, the final heat, the championship heat of the Columbia Cup in just a moment.